My 2022 Top 12 Back Issue Goal List is today's video, and it starts now. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm excited for today's video as I announce my 2022 Back Issue Goal List, and I appreciate you joining me. 2021 was a very successful year in terms of my comic book collection, and I'm very proud of the books that I was able to add into my collection, especially proud that I was able to complete again this year my 2021 back issue goals. Didn't exactly know if that was going to happen or not, but it did, and that made me quite proud and quite happy. Setting a back issue goal for me is something that just helps me stay a little bit more focused in my collecting. And I really enjoy that tool of just kind of focusing on a certain title. I mean, there's no pressure, but essentially, you can divide it into, if I can get one of these a month, I do really good. Although I have to say, I've noticed from experience that they seem to go in waves. I might not get any off of my list for 2 or 3 months, and then I get 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 within a month. That just seems to be how it works out. But anyway, having that list really helps me stay streamlined and focused into the books that I want to have and be able to put into my collection. I will say though, there's already been several books, enough to pretty much make a top 12 list of its own on the books that I was planning on putting on today's list, but already accomplished. Let's start looking at some of those books right now. That's quite a list. And once again, I'm very proud of being able to already knock them off of the list before they made it, because I guarantee every one of those books that you just looked at was going to be on this 2022 goal list at one point or another. But sometimes books come into your life when they're ready to come into your life, and you just got to scoop them and snag them up at that time, which is what I did with those books. So now, with having checkmarked those books off of my list, we're going to start into my 2022 back issue goal list. The only thing I did with this list is try to make sure that I had an equal amount of both Marvel and DC. That was my only criteria that I wanted to have. With that having been shared with you, the list starts right now. You call it Limited Collector's Edition C41, but it's more commonly known as the Super Friends Treasury Size Edition. And that's going to kick off my 2022 goal list at number 12. To be honest with you, this 1976 release predates the official Super Friends comic book title. This came at the beginning of 76, whereas the Super Friends comic book title came a little bit more closer to the end of 1976. I have a full run of the Super Friends comic book title, although there's a few copies I'd like to upgrade my versions of, but I think it's time to get the book that predated that into my collection, which is this treasury size. I love treasury sizes anyway. As a matter of fact, I was pretty sure that number 12 was going to be a treasury size book. It was just a question of which one. And originally, the plan was going to be for the Superman versus Muhammad Ali treasury to go in this spot. But I had a little bit of a lead on it, I thought, for the beginning of the year, and now I've found out that that lead has disappeared. And after looking at the prices, I just don't think it's going to be in my budget to get a nice copy of the Superman versus Muhammad Ali treasury. So unfortunately, I think that one's probably permanently off of my list. Unless some miracle happens, you never know. Comic books come into your life sometimes when they feel like it. It could. Stranger things have happened. But in the meantime, that's going to be off my goal list for this year and taking its place, and there were several to choose from to take its place, but it is this Super Friends Treasury. If this cover art looks familiar to you, it's because it was reused in the Super Friends letterhead column for their ongoing series once it started later on that same year. So limited collector's edition C41, the Super Friends Treasury from 1976 kicks off the list today at number 12. And another book from 1976 makes the list next at number 11. We've got a Marvel book for you in at number 11. I actually have no Ghost Rider Volume 2 comic books. Well, we got to fix that, right? Right. Well, as you might know, I'm a big fan of the group The Champions. And of course, Ghost Rider was a member of this Bronze Age group. Their title certainly didn't last as many issues as I would have liked it to. I thought it really was getting its groove when it got canceled. But there are two different Ghost Rider comic books from Volume 2 that feature guest appearances by the Champions. And Volume 2, Issue 17 happens to be one of those. So I've decided let's put it on the goal list for this year, and we'll put it in at number 11. Well, originally, Aquaman 18 probably would have taken this spot, but instead, since I was able to scoop that up in 2021, the Atom. I don't have any issues at all from his Silver Age title. And I was thinking, I need to fix that. And I was looking over all my different choices, and I thought for a moment maybe I'd put in maybe a issue where it was Atom and the Hawkman when they combined into titles. But then after looking at this issue, which is number 8 from the Silver Age, I thought, yeah, this is the one to go on the list. The Justice League of America make a little cameo appearance inside the issue as well. It's got a great cover there with Dr. Light. Nice red cover. It's time to scoop this one up and add it into the collection, I think. How about something a little more modern? 2021. You're looking at this, which is Immortal Wonder Woman, issue number 1. It's the DaSilva exclusive variant. And you're probably thinking, why don't you have this already, Ryan? And that's kind of what I've been thinking to myself too. Why don't I have this already? For whatever reason, I just didn't buy this exclusive. I don't know if it's because I was just getting burnt out with, shelling out $30 to $35 per book, per variant. I have all of the other Future State variant covers that are Wonder Woman related. So why don't I have this one? If for some reason this thing would sell out and not become available, it would be huge FOMO for me. So enough is enough. It's time to just get it and get it into the collection. So that's why it's making it on the list today, checking in at number 9. From 1973, look at that awesome Captain Marvel cover. I want to take another glance at it. This is an early Thanos appearance. As a matter of fact, I think it's the 3rd appearance of Thanos, but we got the Avengers guest starring there. It's just an action-packed cover that I love. Captain Marvel Volume 1, issue number 28 is what you're seeing, which is checking in at number 8 for my 2022 back issue goal list. Lucky number 7, DCeased Unkillables, number 1. This was a 2020 C2E2 Ryan Brown exclusive cover. Now there's one, I'm showing you the one with the full trade dress on. There also is one that is a minimal trade dress. And I'm okay with either version that I end up getting. Although I have to say there's something about the big trade dress, maybe it's that touch of red that's on the cover that I think just adds something to it. I wish the trade dress was a little bit tinier, but I do like that splash of red on the cover. And I mean, look at Cheetah there. That Cheetah in the headlights look. And she's got Wonder Woman. Oh man, I've got to get this thing. I should have gotten it, sometime in the last almost 2 years. It's time to get this one. It's time to do it. That's why it's on the list. We're at the halfway point for my 2022 back issue goal list. Now this is a cover, isn't it? Look at that. I mean, like the Captain Marvel back issue that I showed you earlier, it has the Avengers on there. It also has the Champions guest starring. This is Supervillain Team Up, Volume 1, issue number 14. It's a 1977 book. I think for the cover alone, I have to have this, but I think it's going to be a good story too. And if I'm not mistaken, I have the issue before this already in my personal collection. So I'm pumped. I'm ready to continue this story and see what happens. So that's why I added it to my list. Mainly though, because I think that cover is just awesome. We're at number 5 in my countdown. We're putting an Avengers book on the list. And thinking about all the ones I wanted, for some reason, 172, this feels like a book I should have already. I mean, for one thing, it has Ms. Marvel guest starring. And, I'm trying to work, I have all of the Ms. Marvel Volume 1 issues now. I'm trying to work on her guest appearances in other titles. And I have all of the Avengers issues once she became an official member. We've got some nice floating heads. We have Hawkeye there. This looks like a book I would already have in my collection. I don't know why I don't have it. It's not an expensive book. It's a cool cover though. 2022, I'm going to make it happen. So that's why it's number 5 on my list. We're heading back to the Silver Age. I tell you, when I start putting together a goal list, I have a huge list of Spider-Man books that I want to add into my collection. I probably could make a top 12 list just out of Spider-Man books that I want to have in my collection. And I would have put Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man 64 on this list this year had I not been A-okayed that from Comics for Thomas. It almost went on last year's list. And this one almost went on last year's list as well from 1968. It's Amazing Spider-Man number 62. It's not the first appearance of Medusa, but man, look at that cover. I've never read this story. I've been aware of this cover for decades, and I think it's time to get this one and add it to the collection. I'm a little worried that this one could end up kind of pricey as well. So I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I'm going to try my darndest to make sure it does happen. It's just too cool of a cover not to have, right? At number 3, Brave and the Bold. Look at this Volume 1 issue from 1970. It's issue number 91, featuring Batman teaming up with Black Canary. That is a cover. I haven't read this story either, but I'm so intrigued by the cover. I'm a huge Black Canary fan, and I was pretty sure I was going to put some type of book that really prominently featured Black Canary on this list somewhere. And it was kind of between this and a different Green Lantern, Green Arrow cover, kind of from the same time frame too. And I just kind of thought, I think it's this one. So that's why it's going to go on the list this year. I might have all of the other Brave and the Bold issues that featured Black Canary guest star appearances. I think this one might be the only one I'm missing. So that's another reason to get it checked off the list if that's true. But I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I love that cover. I want to read this story. It is number 3 on my list. The runner-up in the number 2 spot, I had a Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane on my list last year, which I was able to achieve. I've got one that I think is going to be much easier to get than the one I had last year on my list, which I was lucky enough to get. This is Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane number 89. It came out in 1969. So we have this story here. Lois Lane is marrying Bruce Wayne. The real reason that I want this story, it's a cameo appearance, maybe a page and a half cameo appearance of the non-powered Diana Prince. She comes actually flying in, and you're saying, how is she flying if she doesn't have powers? Well, that gets explained in the page to page and a half appearance that she makes, but she comes flying in with Superman. The weird thing is, every time I think that I have all of the non-powered mod era Diana Prince appearances, I find out another one that I don't have, that are usually kind of tiny guest star appearances like this one, a page and a half. But I want it. I'm a completist. I need to have this. I'm going to make it happen in 2022. My runner-up, Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane, issue number 89. That leaves one book left. Do you have an idea what book is going to be my most sought after back issue for 2022? I think you might be surprised. No, it's not Wonder Woman. It's X-Men. The Uncanny X-Men issue number 113. I have loved this cover since I first seen it. And you don't see a lot of X-Men covers from this era that feature pretty much the entire team on one single cover. Usually it's 3 or 4 members of the team that are just spotlighted on the cover. I love this cover. I just love it. And my eye is immediately drawn to Phoenix. This is a 1978 issue. This is actually the first issue when X-Men went back from being a bi-monthly comic book to a monthly comic book as well. So that's a little side note for you on that. I want this one. I just want this one more than any other one. So it will be a little bit pricier. X-Men books in this range are, but I'm going to go for it. I'm also working, incidentally, issue 114 through 218. I almost have that 100 plus issue run complete. I'm just a few issues short of that. So I'm going to be working on filling those holes in too. But if I can complete those holes and have 114 through 218, why not make it 113 through 218 and get this cover that I just have always loved. And this book, for whatever reason, has just eluded me in the past. Probably because I thought it was a little bit too high in price that I wanted to spend at the time. But I'm going to try my best to make this one happen in my collection for 2022. Wish me good luck on that. That is my number one chase goal book for 2022. I know you saw a lot of Bronze Age and 1970s books. Over half of the list was comprised of books from the 1970s. That's just my sweet spot. That's just the era that I love the most. But in addition to this these back issues that I just shared with you, I'm going to work on some other series as well. I do want to mention from last year, I was lucky enough to complete some series that I was chasing after. Wonder Woman, I had 3 Silver Age books that I needed to have all of her issues from the Silver Age on up, and I was able to complete those last year, so that was awesome. I needed 2 issues of the Bronze Age Inhumans run. Check mark that. Superman Family, I needed 7 books in 2021 to checkmark that run, and I did get all 7. Now there's a few in my Superman families, I think about 3 or so that I want to upgrade eventually later on, but not worrying about that now. Secret Society of Supervillains is a title that I was able to complete in 2021 as well. I only needed 2 issues from a year ago. So to get those 4 titles completely checkmarked and completed was a huge goal for me. In addition, there were some other titles that I had on that list that I really wanted to work on last year. I didn't completely complete them, but I got 6 issues of Batman Family off of my list. Technically, it should be 7, but I'm not counting that 7th book because unbeknownst to me, I bought a Batman Family, opened it up, and the book was in amazing condition too. Opened it up, and all of the advertisement pages had been ripped out of it. It didn't affect the story. The stories were complete, but I want an intact book, so I'm not counting that one. And the Silver Age Teen Titans, I was able to get 6 of those in 2021 as well. So let's take a look now at pretty much 3 series that I want to chase and work on. The first 2 of these 3 series, I'm feeling really hopeful for that I'll be able to complete in 2022. So Batman Family, I'm down to 4 issues that I need. That includes the Detective Comics appearances as well after the Batman Family was canceled and they moved Batman Family over to Detective Comics. So 4 issues, including that one I want to replace. My Silver Age Teen Titans Volume 1, I only need 7 issues to be able to complete that run. And I'm going to try my best to get that done in 2022. One that's a little bit larger and I don't expect to complete, but I certainly would like to get the number down, is the run of Adventure Comics that featured Supergirl as the starring attraction in her solo stories. There are 25 issues of Adventure Comics from the Supergirl period that I need to add into my collection. So I'm going to work on that for 2022. In addition, you'll probably see me working on some Justice League comic books and X-Men comic books. That's what I want to work on as well. Those numbers are a little bit too high to really include on here because they're over triple what that Adventure Comics is. So yeah, they're a little bit over 75 for both of them. So, but I'm going to start chipping away, and maybe next year we can get them down low enough that they'll make the list. Those are my chase books for 2022, my back issue goal list. Do you own any of these comic books? Are you also chasing any of these books? Have you made a goal list? Can I see it? Let's dialogue about all of these things in the comments section below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope that you will, and you'll be able to watch and see what progress I'm able to make on my 2022 goal list. Hitting the notification bell will instantly inform you when new content is added to my channel. Thanks for stopping by and letting me share my 2022 back issue goal list with you. I certainly do appreciate it. I wish you luck in chasing the books that you're looking for in the new year, and I look forward to sharing my pickups with you throughout the year. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day.